It's already 8 p.m. So, okay. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Every traveler has a home of his own, and he learns to appreciate it the more from his wandering, said Charles Dickens. We are all travelers in this world, be it an emotional journey, a world tour, or an academic one. Our fellow alumni, the pride of our Department of Economics, may have ended their journey with us in search of a new beginning. Still, East West University will always remain their home and the Department of Economics their cozy nook. Today, we will get to know from their own voice if they have learned to appreciate this home more with their new journeys or not, because we decided to bring them back their home and have an opportunity to connect with these gems again. Good evening, everyone. With great honor and delight, I welcome all of you to the first session of Alum Talks, organized by East West University Economics Club. I, Tahsin Firdos Maisha, will be conducting this session for today. We have one of our beloved alumni with us tonight as our guest, who will answer your questions, give us a career guideline, and play some fun games with us as well. Stay tuned till the end if you don't want to miss seeing your seniors playing these games. Before introducing our guest, I would love to share a few things about our very own East West University Economics Club with you. Since its inception in 2015, the Economics Club has aimed to help students develop soft skills and gain leadership experience alongside their academic curriculum. While managing thousands of obstacles throughout its journey, the club has successfully launched countless events, competitions, workshops, and has created numerous cherishable memories. The club has always been a platform to connect, learn, and flourish. Also, we appreciate the hard work of our executive members and general members that made these events successful. Huge applause to the members and to the club. I know we can't hear you, but it won't hurt if you clap sitting inside your room. And also, the comment section is always open for you to clap with the clapping emoji. So please go and do it. Now, I know all of you have become bored of listening to me blabbering and have been eagerly waiting to have our guest on the floor. So with great pleasure, I welcome our honorable guest for the first session of Alum Talks, Pooja Agnes Gomes, ma'am. She had been a student of the Department of Economics for both her undergraduate program and graduate program. For her extraordinary brilliant result all throughout her undergraduate years, she was honored with a gold medal from the East West University. And currently, she is working with her precious home, East West University, as a lecturer of the Department of Economics. Welcome to the Alum Talks, ma'am.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's our pleasure too, ma'am. And thank you so much, ma'am, again for taking the time, from your busy schedule and joining us. It is great to have you among us today. We will now move on with our session where our beloved ma'am will share her experience, thoughts, and suggestions with us. First of all, I would like to give the floor to ma'am to share her thoughts on this initiative of Alum Talks.
Good evening, everyone, good evening, Maisha, as well as
Good
all the
evening, ma'am.
audiences. Good evening. I hope all of you are doing well by the grace and blessings of the Almighty God. Let me start by saying that I'm a bit nervous. Those of you who know me, my seniors, juniors, and my students that know that public speaking is not really my thing. But yet, I love all of you, so I've decided to do this. So if I make some mistakes, please forgive me. But once again, you guys are family. The audience here are either my seniors, my juniors, my contemporaries, or my beloved students. So I might make some mistakes, but let's ignore it. Uh, as far as this initiative is concerned, I think it's one of the great initiative by the Department of Economics or Economics Club, because while I was a student, I thought that it was a lacking that we have felt. We didn't have anyone to reach out to when we were confused about our career. Which area should we specialize in? What are the courses, especially the open elective courses or the optional courses, on which we should specialize on? So this type of advices were missing. But I think a program like this will reduce that gap and create a networking as well as connectivity. So I want to applaud the Economics Club for such a great initiative.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And yes, we also hope that this initiative, this platform proves to be helpful enough, especially for the newcomers, because they had to get their admission online. So I really hope that this platform helps them. Thank you for sharing your important views with us, ma'am. So we have a bunch of questions to address that have been asked by the current students of our department. And also, if anyone from our audience has any new questions in mind, please feel free to ask them in the comments section. I repeat, if anyone from our audience has any new questions in mind, please go on and feel free to ask them in the comment section. We will definitely try to cover all of your questions. So now, ma'am, can we start the Q&A session?
Yes, yes, let's go for it.
Okay. Okay, ma'am. So the first question we have is, what are the few things you always did before exams?
The answer I'm going to give to this question is going to sound a bit weird, but I used to sleep before examination, frankly, because at the initial stage of my university life, I tried to do the overstudy thing and study before, like 5 minutes before the exam, 10 minutes before the exam, and I felt miserably. Once I remember, I forgot what poverty was during my examination. So then I decided that my body will only listen to me when I listen to my body. So as a result, I used to have well rest and I used to sleep well before my examination. The overstudy thing never worked for me. So I think a good night's sleep is very important before examination. So complete your curriculum beforehand and try to take some rest before the exam. It helps a lot. At least it worked for me.
Thank you for the tip, ma'am. It was a very useful tip, I have to say, because this is what we do. This is what the students from our generations do. We procrastinate, procrastinate, and procrastinate. And then when it comes to the exam, we hope to ace every exam just by spending a few sleepless nights. And then when it's time for the exam, like we are drooling with sleep. So I think that is a very useful tip for our students. The second question we have is, a student has asked, how did campus life shape your career path?
Let me think about it for a moment. Um, okay, it wasn't like this that I entered the first day of university and it was like a Karan Johar movie that I dreamt of being a faculty or I dreamt of being the student of the year. So it wasn't like this, obviously. But the first year it was only about wearing new clothes, meeting new people, making friends, and eating fuchka and all sorts of junk food outside our university. New students, you are missing it. So I hope you guys get to experience it very soon. So this was the first year. Second year, it was all about getting over with the university. I felt so pressurized. I'm like, let's get over with it. There's no ambition at all. But eventually, when I started participating in various competitions, started winning it, and also when I started getting appreciation from my faculties, and they started encouraging me. And also one thing is like when I become a TA, it was when I realized, when my student appreciated me, that Apu, we understood what you're trying to say. We understood the way you taught. That is when it struck me that, okay, I'm not as worthless I used to think I am. I might not be a loser after all. So that is when I started to think maybe I can teach. Maybe I can do something and not be a worthless person. So I think it was a gradual process, not an instant moment like when I entered and like the violin started playing and I started to become the student of the year, it wasn't like that. So it was a gradual process where I realized that I might be okay faculty at in their future. I still have a lot to learn. So it was a gradual process. I'm still learning.
It is never too late to learn, ma'am, and it is never too late to choose a career. A lot of us thinks that, oh, I'm in the university already, and okay, I don't know what to do in future. So I think your story will really encourage those students who think that, oh, I'm in the second year already and I don't have a vision yet. I really hope it helps them. Your story helps them.
It's a
Uh,
gradual process.
yes, ma'am, sure. There's another question that I think is a concern of a lot of students. A student has asked, can I choose to be a researcher even if my CGPA is poor?
The answer to that is yes. Um, I would not ask you to have a poor CGPA. Try to work on it because we all know it is important to some extent. But if you have a bad CGPA or poor CGPA, does not mean that's the end of your life or that's the end of your career. I'm still learning the process of research, the concept of research as I'm new myself. But I think research is an accumulation of lot of things. Here you need survey skill or field skills. Here you need analytical skills such as knowing software such as Excel and Stata. Here you need to have good writing skills. So, over the time, even with bad or poor CGPA, you can try to do some additional courses. For example, I remember a few months ago, Economics Club arranged a program on Excel. So you can,
Yes, ma'am.
and I hope they arrange a program on Stata in near future. They did it in the past. I hope they do it again. So students who have a bad CGPA, they can acquire the skills. They can acquire the field skills required for field work, and they can actually be a good researcher even with bad CGPA. I know my seniors who does not have as high CGPA as 3.9, but they're working in some of the international research organization currently. And I know them and they're earning a very good salary and they're working there. So I have living example of this. So you can be a researcher with 4 CGPA or whichever CGPA.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. I think again that was very helpful because again it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to work on self development, and it's not only about CGPA, of course. It's about the additional skills we have too. So thank you, ma'am. The next question we have is, what challenges did you face yourself at the start of your career, right after obtaining your undergraduate degree? While choosing your career.
Um, Let me think.
Okay, sure, ma'am.
I um I think the biggest challenge I have felt was to is the choice between whether to go for a job or whether to go for my MSS. And by the grace and blessings of the Almighty, I was fortunate enough to get a job right after my graduation in a very well reputed governmental research organization. And I also enrolled myself into MSS program. But then I realized I couldn't do both. If I wanted to continue my job, my CGP would be hampered. I realized that because it's not possible to give as much time and attention to your study if you do a job. You're tired after the long day. So I think it was one of the biggest dilemma I have ever had to face, that I had to let a very good paying job for an undergraduate student. So I had to let go of that job and decide to continue my study with full concentration. So I think that has to be one of the biggest challenge I had to face.
Okay, ma'am, we understand. And okay, someday we have to face it too. And I hope we face it with
Life
courage.
is full of choices. Which
Yes, ma'am. The next question actually refers to your answer to the previous question. The next question is, what is the better thing to do after obtaining the undergraduate degree, getting a job or pursuing a master's degree? This refers to your biggest challenge, ma'am.
I don't know whether I'm the right person to answer this question because I have faced the choice myself and I was confused like anything. But I think it varies from person to person. We all are different, our journeys are different, our goals are different. But one thing I can ask, our aspirations are different. But one thing I can say is like stop before you just go into this roller coaster ride. Stop for a minute, sit into a quiet room or a room full of noise, doesn't matter, whatever makes you feel comfortable. So sit and think where do you want to be in 10 years, or where do you want to be, or what is the field you're interested in. For example, you want to be in corporate world. Again, if this is just my opinion, I am no, I mean, different people have different journey, they have different story to tell. So if you want to be in corporate world, many says that it's good to have a job experience. It's good to have the job experience in your kitty, so you can go ahead and do a job right after your graduation. But if you want to be in academics and research, and knowledge plays a crucial role, because you learn a lot of application based things in master's program, which is required in academics as well as in research field. So I think if you want to be in that field, it's important to acquire a master's degree. So I think before taking this decision, or and answering this question, as I know that all of us does not have the same aspirations, so it depends on from person to person. So think before you make a choice and do what's best for you.
Yeah, ma'am. So we have to keep our mind open, to explore new things and to take some time and really think of what our career choice is and then act upon it.
Act according to your own aspiration.
Yes, ma'am. So the next question we have is, ma'am, we know consistency is the key to such great fits, but what is the key to such great consistency?
Uh, Again, a very critical question, Mahesh, because consistency. Yes, we all know who have studied in ISTUS and who are part of ISTUS, not just ISTUS, any institution. This whole semester process is all about consistency, because you have to be consistent. There are midterms, there are quizzes, there are assignments, there are presentations. So you have to be consistent in your work. But for me, again, this is my opinion. If you want to be consistent, you need to know how to focus and how to pull yourself even from the darkest situation. I know it's not always easy. We have financial problems, we have family problems, we have heartaches and breakups. So trust me, guys, I know. So we all have our share of problems, and it's not always easy to be consistent in our studies. But we need to know that there is somewhere we want to reach. There is a goal to fulfill. So we need to know that we need to get up in the morning and attend the classes, and we need to push. Some day it will be bright and shiny, some day it will be full of sadness, dark and gloomy. But once again, you just need to focus and just focus on your goal. So I think just pushing yourself to the limit is, I think, the key to consistency, at least in my opinion. Different people might have different opinion regarding this, but I think pushing yourself to do, even if you do not want to do it.
Yes, ma'am. I think because, as you said before, some days will be bright and shiny, and some days will be gloomy. So, on the gloomy days, if we don't push ourselves, the consistency won't really exist. So, yes, ma'am. That was very helpful. That was very informative. And the next question we have is, um, okay, another. Our students have actually, our friends, they have actually asked many good questions for you, and according to you, many critical questions. The next question is, if you had it, to do all over again the journey of your career, what would you do differently?
Hmm, Frankly, nothing. I wouldn't want to go through those assignment quizzes, term papers, the 6 years of my life all over again. And even also, I don't think I'll change anything, because even after all the pressure and hard work, those 6 years, 4 years of my undergraduate studies and 2 years of my master's studies are two of the 6 of the best years of my life I have spent in S2S. So I wouldn't trade it for anything. My success as well as failures, it wasn't all full of success and good grades. I had my share of dropping the course, withdrawing from a course, doing bad in midterms, but I've learned from each of it. Pressure, crying, so I learned from each of it, so I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I also met two of my best friends in East West, Sabrina Tithi and Ikra. So they made every moment worth living in East West. So, and they're still my best friends. We're still together after so many years. So this is where I met my friends, and I also have some amazing friends in East West. So I wouldn't trade it for anything else, any or anyone else. But if I had to change something, I think I would ask myself that not to panic much, because many of you know that I panic a lot. So I would just be a little more confident if I had to change anything. But rather than that, I own everything, my senses as
That
well as
is
my
really
feelings.
nice to hear. Not everyone is feels so contented with whatever they do. Everyone is like, oh, I had done this in the past, and it was not so great. If I wish I would get another chance to do it again. But listening to you, it really feels nice that yes, someone is there who is contented with even the beautiful days and the gloomy days, with all of the days. They're
They're
just
both
happy to
mine.
leave those.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. So the next question is, what would you look for if you were in the position to hire new graduates from our institution?
Hard question, right? Again, I don't think I'm in that position where I can judge anyone. I still have a long way to go, but if you give me such a good position, I'll just make use of it for now. So I think I would look for honestly, frankly. Um, as I've been teaching for like almost more than 1 year now, almost for 2 years, and also I meet a lot of new pupils. So I think we tend to highlight our uh, skills, and we try to hide our flaws, and we try to overdo it. But I think you need to be honest about yourself, to yourself as well as to your employers, because the person who is hiring you, they have been doing it for a long time. They can just read through you. They can read through if you are lying. So just be honest that this is not, I know this and I don't know this, but also show the enthusiasm or the eagerness to learn, and say that I don't know this for now, but I can try to work better. Let me tell you a story. I hope you guys are not getting bored. Maisha, I hope you are not
No, no,
getting
ma'am.
bored. So
Not at
I
all.
remember before my recruitment in East West, Viva ma'am was telling me what is my strength, which subject, and what is my weakness. I told ma'am that I can't do math. Math is something that scares me like anything. And she's like, I need to work on it. She really motivated me that if I want, I can do this. Then later on, when I was assigned to teach math 110, not 110, math 100. Initially I started with math 100. I was scared like anything. I wanted to call Shamim Bhai. All of you know Shamim Bhai is who from economics department. I wanted to call
Yes,
Shamim
ma'am.
Bhai and tell him that please switch my math section. But then he told me that I need to push myself. Even if I do not know it, I can try. So trust me, I took out all sort of math books, Dowling, Chiang, and these are name of the mathematics books. My students know it, and Hoy. And I started reading each the chapters. I started doing the math, going through the math, solving the math before going into the class. I started pushing myself. I started watching YouTube videos about math so that I can explain it in the easy way. So I think even if something scares you, be honest about it, own up your flaws and work on it. I think that is something. Just own up. Just own up to yourself. And honesty is something I would look for into my if I want to hire someone.
That is understandable, ma'am, because honesty is something that has helped you. You are very nervous about teaching maths, and you were honest about it to your employer, and it eventually helped you. It eventually helped you to overcome your fear, overcome your nervousness.
You
So,
should
of
ask my
course,
math
that
student how am I doing. I think they can tell you better, my math students, whether they understand anything or not.
I'm sure they're very happy to have you as a faculty. I really hope
I hope
I
so.
haven't got. Yes, ma'am. We hope so. And I haven't got your course yet. I really hope I get it in my next semesters. The next question we have is this is actually the last question that we have in our Q&A session for today. We will then look into our comment section. The last question we have is, we know a teacher should have a great knowledge of vocabulary. How can we improve our language skills as well as vocabulary? What are your tips?
Uh, I will give you a not a tip but a suggestion that my teacher once gave me, and it has worked for me to some extent. Obviously, it's not possible to know every word out there. So try to make the English language a part of your life. Guys, no matter how many words you learn from the Oxford Dictionary, how many words you memorize, how many courses you do, how many exams you give, it's not going to help. Because if you treat it as curriculum, it's not going to be much helpful after a certain period of time. Try to make it a part of your everyday life. That's what I did. Try to listen to English music and try to understand what they're saying. Not the metallic ones where you can't listen to anything but the music, the guitar and the drums, but the pop songs, country songs where you can learn the words from. Also watch Netflix movie, Netflix series where watch it with subtitle once, watch without subtitles once. So try to understand what they're saying. Try to read a book if you're interested in novels. This is what helped for me. I read a lot of books. Then, if you're interested in newspaper, read a newspaper. So make it a part of your everyday life. Try to integrate learning with fun. And don't just like push yourself, but also try to enjoy it. So I think integrating learning English with your fun activity or daily activity is something that helped me, and I think it can help you as well. Because even if you memorize the entire Oxford Dictionary, you're going to forget it like after 2 hours. So try to integrate it
Yes,
into your
ma'am.
daily life.
I'm sure, ma'am, the last answer would be the favorite answer that our students got because, you know, it includes watching movies. So, and listening to
Great.
music.
Great.
Yes, ma'am. So this was, I think your, I mean, it was the most interesting and and fun answer that we got for
I
today.
hope the
And
students who are watching or the audience who are watching thinks this was interesting and we're not just blabbering.
no, but I'm sure everyone will follow this step that you this answer. Everyone will from their heart, even if they don't follow the other answers or not, they will follow it. So, okay, we are done with the answers that we had collected before. I can see that a lot of the students have asked new questions in the comment section. As per our time limit, of course, we won't be able to take all of the questions, but we can take the best 2, 3 questions from the new ones. So, a question that
Okay,
we have is,
I hope they're not
yes, ma'am.
dangerous. I hope they're
No, ma'am,
not something. Yeah,
not more critical than what we had
the ones you
already.
asked. Okay,
Yes, ma'am. So
go for
we
it.
have a question that Samsun Nahar Sara has asked. She has asked, ma'am, who is your biggest inspiration?
Um, in real life or someone from movies or it.
Um, Ma'am, it can be in real life or you can answer both in real life and from the movies.
Okay. Um, Let me think. In real life, I think it has to be my parents because my parents were very good students, but they couldn't study due to financial constraints. They had to give up. So every time I hear this story, how my dad had to work in the convent to in order to pay for his tuition fee, how my mother had to give up her education in order to as her father had died, my grandfather. So I think that those are the stories who get what inspired me. That it's not only for myself, for my parents that I need to study. I need to get that prize. I need to bring a smile into their face. So it has to be my parents if I have to choose someone from real life. As well as I had this teacher in A levels. I used to be bad in English. Trust me, I used to be bad in it. And once I got very poor marks in economics. So before that, I
Okay.
wanted to be a CA. I got very poor marks in economics. He scolded me in front of the entire class. No, no, not making sound like a bad person. He wasn't. Later, he told me it was for my own good. So he scolded me in front of the entire class and told me that just prove me wrong. And I did. I studied, and from 52% out of 100 in the midterm to 97% in the finals. I just kept studying economics. I kept looking at videos of demand supply, this and that. So I think from there I got my love for economics, as well as it has improved my English a lot. So that teacher had to be one of my biggest inspiration. And believe it or not, he was one of the student of East West economics department. He
Oh,
was the one
wow.
who used to tell us about Enamul Haq sir. So he was our student. So that is what inspired to me in being East West as well. That's why I got to know about East West. So it has to be the teacher and my parents.
Okay, ma'am. It's amazing how our parents, we see them as very general people, but they can be heroes of our lives. And then that teacher, thank God, that teacher actually encouraged you and inspired you, and that is why we have you here today. That is why
Thank you.
numerous students are now finding you as an inspiration. So
I hope so.
thanks to that teacher.
I hope so.
Okay. So another question that we have, ma'am, is, ma'am, how did you handle stress?
Okay, how did I handle stress? I used to take a deep breath whenever I panicked, or I just went and hugged my mom. That is something, that is my stress reliever. I go and hug my mom, and she just hugs me back. So I think, or sometimes I just freaked out and panicked and cried. Guys, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to panic. It's okay to feel stressed out, because if you're not, there's something wrong with you. So it's if you're feeling stressed, believe me that you're okay, you're fine, you're doing okay. So just I think listening to music always helps too. I think for me it was music, and but the biggest stress reliever has to be hugging my mom. I used to go and just cry holding her. So I think it used to help me a lot, hugging my mom.
It's amazing. It's these simple things. Not many people tell us the simple things when when we ask for suggestions, when we ask for advices. All we get is like, do hard, go hard, do this, do that. I saw this person do this, so you have to do this too. But these are very simple things. These are very simple tips. Little things makes our lives
And it's
beautiful.
okay, and it's okay to feel stress, it's okay to panic, it's okay to like, I just say this, it's okay not to be okay, it's okay to feel depressed, because this is normal. That's what makes you human.
Yes, ma'am. We have emotions. Humans have emotions. Uh, Another question that we have is, ma'am, what type of change occurred in your life if you compare today and the time when you were in our position? In between this time, what type of change really occurred in your life?
Okay, I think thinking before talking. Those who were with me in my university life, even my students know I talk a lot. I talk a lot means I talk a lot. But before I used to be like, I used to talk without thinking about anyone, about anything. But I now I have that filter. I know that I cannot tell everything to the student or I might go viral. So I know that, especially during online classes. So now I think before talking, and also I think it has my temper has reduced a lot. I used to be short tempered, I still am. But I think now I know how to understand other people, how to control my anger, even if something my students are doing stresses me out. So I think I have learned how to control my temper as well as think before speaking. But again, my students will know better that sometimes I still talk without thinking, and I crack poor jokes. So it's okay.
It's okay, ma'am. Exactly as you said, it's your family. We are a family, uh, and it's our it's our home. It's your home. So I think it's completely okay. And as you said before, it's never too late to learn. So thank you, ma'am. I'll just see if we have any more questions that we can address.
Let me just tell you the students are much smarter than I was in their age. The questions they're asking, I, I still feel they're more smarter than me.
I think with years, ma'am, with time, we are evolving. We are still
Yes.
evolving. Um, okay. Let me see if we have. Okay, I do not think that we have enough time to cover any more questions. But thank you so much, ma'am, for answering the questions so precisely. I am sure our audiences have got their answers. And dear audience, we have covered as many questions as possible. Because of the time limit, we may have missed some of your questions. But if we have missed any of your questions, please no need to worry, because you can ask these questions again in our next session to our next guest. So now moving on to the next segment, our second segment of today's session is career guideline. We have a few frequently asked questions from students who thrive to pursue a career in academics. There are many students among us who want to become a lecturer in the future at East West University or maybe any other universities of their choice. So I think your suggestions and advice would really help them out, because you have pursued the same career too. So firstly, ma'am, I would like to ask you, what qualifications are required to apply for a lecturer post in most universities, especially in EWU? What are the requirements?
Ah, I wish I could tell you that Cgpa doesn't matter for a field for a career in academics, but it does. You need to have a good academic records. So Cgpa and good academic records in your past, like undergrad, O levels, A levels, or HSC, SSC, whatever it is, it's important to have a good academic record. But along with that, I think there are other things. If you have a bit lower CGPA, which can help you is, I think, first and foremost, if you're interested in research, because a good academician or a good educator, CGPA is also complementary with it. CGPA, sorry, not CGPA. Having a good command over research is complementary with it. So if you are interested in research and have good publications or interest in it, it can help you. Along with that, I think what's important here is to have a good communication skill. I think because being a teacher, you need to communicate with all sort of students, and by all sort of students, not all students are same. Some are, some will understand a thing at the first time you say, and some will understand it after two times you say it. So you need to have the patience, as well as you need to know how to communicate with everyone. So I think it's the communication skill, as well as your interest in research, but also a good academic record. So I think it's a combination of all things. Even if you don't have it now, I think we can always work on it.
Yes, ma'am, sure. We can always work on it. And I think it was very helpful, because a lot of the students from our department, they have this dream of becoming a teacher in future. I think it really helped them. So if they know the requirements, if they know the requirements already, they can work on them. They can work on them for future. I think, ma'am, we have another question. Um, okay, another comment, which is from a teacher of ours, Hossein Ishrat Adib sir. Responding to question in a live session isn't easy. This itself should be a useful lesson for the students, many of whom may have to face something similar in their lives after EWU. Thank you so
Thank
much, sir.
you. One of my favorite person, favorite teacher in this whole world. One of the person who taught me a lot. Thank you, Adisha.
Okay, so that was a very beautiful comment from our teacher to another teacher. And okay, so as our sir have said, it should be a useful lesson for our viewers, for our audiences. Now we will move on to the next question. Are there any certain extracurricular activities that might help? Because I mean, there are club activities, there are sports. Some students are taking part in many problem-solving competitions, like you did once. And do these activities actually help?
Let me think. 1 minute. Yes, I think it does. As I said earlier, that communication skill is very important, not just for a career in academics, but in anywhere you go. Communication skill is very important, and when you participate in extracurricular activities, it helps to improve your communication skill. And also, I think all of you will agree with me that the hardest thing in this world is to deal with people. Understanding
Yes,
human
ma'am.
beings are not easy, and understanding their minds are also not easy. That's the biggest challenge we face. So when you go outside your curriculum, you go outside your classroom, you meet all sorts of new people from different universities and from your university as well. So I think it improves your understanding of people, it improves your communication skills. So it actually helps you. It makes you prepared for the real world.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you. I really hope it encourages our students and our club members, those who are newly recruits. I think it would really help them, help them see what they're getting from these activities they're performing in. Okay, the next question actually, and again, refers to the previous question. Did you yourself ever participate in any extracurricular activities during your undergraduate years, and how did they contribute to your career?
Yes, I was a part of the economics club, the very our very own economics club. It was at the initial stage when I joined the club, but let me tell you and let me confess that I wasn't an executive member like you guys. I was a more of an participatory member or general member, you can say. I participated in every single competition the club ever held. Also, some in competition that other clubs held. So I represented the club in many competitions. So initial stage, I thought it was a bit forced on me that go and participate because we need participants. Because at the it was
Yes,
at the
ma'am.
beginning of the stage, but initially it was forced. But then I started enjoying it. I started winning. I have to confess, I started getting prize. So I started winning it, and I started enjoying it. But I think what helped me is, as I've said earlier, I'm a very shy person. It scares me, and I know how scared I am right now. So it scares me to speak in front of people, but while participating on those extracurricular, I had to speak for the first time in an auditorium full of faculties, in front of Farshuddin sir, in front of Enamul Haq sir. That's where I think that I learned how to hide my fear to some extent, not fully. But so I think it has helped me a lot being part of economics club, participating in all those competitions. So you always don't need to be the part of executive body. You can be a general member and as well as enjoy the clubs. But let me tell you one thing: don't let it hamper your study. Make it complementary, not a substitute of your studies. So try to do both.
Okay, ma'am. That was again very useful because a lot of people, they find it difficult to focus on both of the things together, and they feel like, okay, if I'm going for extracurricular activities, let me ace in this, and if I'm going for
Respect
studying,
to
then I
you
will
guys,
not do.
ma. Sorry, Maisha, for cutting you out here.
No, no,
But
no, no,
respect
ma'am.
to
It's
you guys,
okay.
respect to you guys who are part of the executive body and still manage to do well in your studies. One example is I have to mention Proma here, your club moderator. She managed both and she
Yes, ma'am.
excelled in both. So there are people who excel in both. So respect to you guys who are doing both. I couldn't do it, but I'm proud of you guys for doing managing both.
Ma'am, you still won so many competitions, and you did well in your academics as well. So I'm sure you have done it too. And respect to you, ma'am, too, for for acing in both your curricular activities and your extracurricular activities. The next question that we have is, what are the first steps to becoming an educator? Or what would you suggest the students do now if they want to pursue a career in academics?
Mm, be open to change and be open to learning new things. There's no end to learning, and be open to criticism. Be open to accept that you don't know something. I still do. Always I still do it because I'm new at it. But if I don't know something in the class, I tell my students, guys, I don't know it. I need to learn it. I need to go back to the textbook, or I don't. I need to go and check the facts from a website, and I'll come back to and get back to you guys in the next class. So be open to that learning. Be accept yourself that I don't know this, and learn it. And also be open to change yourself. Be open to change, because I think the education sector is changing. Now the students are more interested in learning from you, social media, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok than going to the textbook. So I think in today's era, That's again my opinion. If you want to be an educator, you need to adopt yourself to the new generation. Think like them, be one of them, because they won't respond to your scolding. You need to get to their head in some other way. So be open to change, behave like them, talk like them, and be one of them. I think that's my mantra at least. That's what I'm trying to do. Again, my students can tell you better how am I doing.
Ma'am, we can definitely see in the comment section how your students actually love you so much.
I
There
hope.
are so many beautiful comments that we have, and I'm sure after the live session, if you read the comment section, you will see how it goes. Okay, so
Thank you,
the
guys.
next, and thank you again for your suggestion, ma'am. Being open to exploring new things and being open to change, because the world is changing, the world is evolving, and everything surrounding us is evolving and changing at the same time. So, ma'am, we have talked a lot about a teaching career or a career in academics. Lastly, it would be really great if you could tell us about the possible career opportunities for the economics graduates, apart from the academics.
First of all, don't let the relatives or পাশের বাসার auntie get to you when they say তুমি arts নিলা, তুমি arts এর student, economics পড়তেছো, কোনো job নাই. So don't let that get to you. It got to me at some point because people is many. I won't criticize, but people says that to you when they learns that you are not studying science or in other fields. So don't let it get to you. I'm telling you from real life example that I know people who are working in banks, people who are working in Food Panda, people who are working in Beximco, people who are working in CPD, people who are working in BIDS. So there's from research to banks to NGOs to CPD to multinational companies. Our students are working there, and I'm not making it up. My friends are working there. So I know
Okay.
for some people it's just right after you graduate and you get the opportunity. For some people it's maybe a year, maybe 6 months, maybe 8 months. But opportunities are there. You need to look for it. You need to be patient, and there are opportunities. I know people who are working in various fields. So there are lots of opportunity. Don't be discouraged. Try to work on yourself. Try to improve your skills, and eventually, by the grace and blessings of the Almighty, you will be there.
Okay. So, based on our stories, um, based on you know, our skills, we get different opportunities. Everybody gets different opportunities, and we have to look for them. So, ma'am, we have lastly, you have patiently answered all of our questions, but now I would request you to tell us, in short, a summary of your story, of your own journey of finding yourself as an educator and becoming one. And listening to your journey in your own words, I think it would help the students to visualize their their own upcoming journeys.
I really wish Maisha had a very emotional, full of drama, and very inspiring story to tell you, Maisha. But I don't. I don't have a biopic type story with me. But it all, I'll say, like it all just happened to me very quickly by the grace and blessings of the Almighty and the blessings of my parents. So I don't have a story, but one or two things I can say here. One is do whatever you do with sincerity. Don't try to impress anyone in the process. Like, I'm going to do this so that my faculties can be impressed. I need to go into their good books. No. If you're being a TA, be it with full sincerity, be sincere to your students, be sincere to your work, be sincere to your faculty. If you're participating in a competition, don't care who is looking into your for the prize. Just do it with sincerity. I did it. I didn't know that someone is noticing me in the process. I did it with full sincerity. And I think it somehow worked for me because you never know who is noticing you, who got this putting in your path to create a new path for you, or new create full, who got puts you in your path to fulfill your dream. So do whatever you do with full sincerity. And also, nowadays, I have to add it here, many students are not going for research paper. that is Eco 495. Or in masters, they're not going for thesis. They're instead doing two courses, additional courses in replacement of that, or doing an internship. I don't have any problem with it. It's your life, your choice. But being a student of economics, and if you want to stay in economics, doing a research paper helps a lot. I can tell that because it worked for me. This is where I think Warshuddin sir and other faculties of our department thought I could teach. They could see my knowledge, my basics, my speaking skills or my vocabulary skills in the presentation. That is where I got this opportunity from. So my research paper, my thesis changed my life. It can change yours too. So I don't have such emotional story, but I can say that do whatever you do, do it with full sincerity. As well as if you're in economics, try to push yourself. Try to take the challenge of doing a thesis. It's not easy, but try to do it. It changed my life.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, it's strange as you first said that your story is not very encouraging and not inspiring enough. But when we came to listen to it, there are so many suggestions and so many inspiring words like hidden in your story. It is amazing to see it. And you are saying that no, it's not very encouraging, but I'm sure as I found it as a student, as a current student of Department of Economics, as I found it very encouraging and inspiring. Our audiences, would find it the same. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your journey with us. I feel really grateful to be here and interacting with you, ma'am, and I'm sure our viewers feel the same as well. These suggestions were, and the questions, the answers that we have got, and the suggestions and advices that we got from you were very informative and very helpful. Particularly, at this date of online education, it is hard to get career counseling and advice. So you really made it easy for us, for our students and for our viewers with this session. So we are done with our question answer segment and career guidelines segment and have almost reached the ending of the session. But before that, as promised before, we have a fun segment for our guest and it is called the
Don't
rapid
scare
fire
me.
round. Ma'am, it will be fun. Trust me, it will be really fun.
Let's see. I hope it's not controversial.
No, no, ma'am, it's not controversial at all. I'm sure that you will enjoy it as we move towards it. So ma'am, in this round, in the rapid fire round, what we will do
Mhm.
is I will be mentioning a few words to you one by one. Once I say a word, you have to name the first thing that comes
That
to your
comes into
mind.
mind.
Yes, related to that word within 10 seconds. You cannot exceed 10 seconds.
Okay,
And
I'll try.
ma'am, it will be easy and it will be fun, I'm sure.
That's good.
So, ma'am, are you ready for the game?
I don't know, but let's start. Let's start.
I am actually already feeling very excited to start the round. And dear audience, dear viewers, if you are, feeling excited too, please let us know in the comment section, because I have read a few of your comments and they're so beautiful, and you know we want to see if you are enjoying it as well, if you are enjoying the rapid fire round as well. So, ma'am, let's start the game.
Okay, let's start.
The first word we have is friends.
Equality.
I sort of kind of you know assumed that you would say their names. The next word is faculty.
Enam sir.
In Amsar. Food,
Pasta.
pasta. A lot of our students, a lot of our viewers, their favorite food is pasta as well. I'm sure. First semester,
Fun.
fun. Yes. The next word is last semester.
Emotion.
Emotion. Yes. Then surprise.
Getting it can be a word, right? Getting A in a course you didn't expect.
Okay. That's a surprise we all want in our life.
It happens.
Success.
Pride in my parents' eyes.
That's a beautiful thing. Failure
Learning process.
favorite
And
course
heartbreak.
and
Uh,
heartbreak. Okay.
Eco 443.
Eco
Of course, I
443.
did it, Adib sir.
Oh, Adib sir, the one who commented. Oh,
Yes.
that's a nice thing to hear again. Um, work.
Joy.
Sorry, ma'am, I couldn't hear you.
Joy, happiness,
Joy. Okay. The next one is pressure.
breaking down or breakdowns, but it's okay.
It's all right. It's always all right. Presentation.
Public speaking and scary.
Yes, ma'am. And okay, we have actually reached the end of our game. Oh, and now comes the final word for the rapid fire round. Alum Talks.
More fun than I expected. It was actually amazing. You made me feel very comfortable, Maisha. Thank you.
My pleasure, ma'am. It was my pleasure.
I hope I did
And
well in your rapid fire.
yes, ma'am, you did excellent. Like within a few seconds, you just answered each and every,
You can open
you
your
just
own
answered it.
program and you can open your own program and call it Coffee with Maisha.
Someday, inshallah, someday,
Yeah.
maybe. And ma'am, okay, we are actually done with the rapid fire round. Now I wish it lasted a little longer. So we are done with this round for today. Thank you so much, ma'am, for playing the game with us. It was really fun to see you play, and it was really fun to play with you too. I hope you enjoyed it too, ma'am.
Surely, Maisha, I had a great time. I told you I enjoyed more than unexpected. I was feeling very scared, but you made me very comfortable. So thank you so much. I hope the students enjoyed it or the audience enjoyed it.
I'm
I hope they
sure,
did it
ma'am. I'm
feel
sure
forward.
their comments and the reacts they're giving, we can see by that of course, you know, uh, they're enjoying it a lot. Okay, we have a comment from a student. Today I have got, oh, yes, these are the beautiful comments, ma'am, that you have
Yes,
got.
I can
So they have
see.
enjoyed a lot. They have enjoyed a lot.
Hope so.
And we really, really, we are very happy that we could make you enjoy as well. And ma'am, we would like to know how did you actually feel coming back as an alumnus to your home and attending today's session?
I just felt back to university. You brought back all those memories. Why that from from all the question you have asked, it brought me all those memories. My failure, my success, the time I spent with my friends. I just feel overwhelmed by the flashbacks and the memories. It was hidden somewhere in my mind. So I just feel emotional. That is something I have to say. I feel emotional after the session.
That's really good to hear, ma'am. And thank you, our audience. Thank you, our viewers, for asking these amazing questions that took our ma'am back to her good old memories. So, are there any last suggestions for our fellow students of the Department of Economics that you have?
Not just fellow students from economics, but for anyone who is watching. I think in today's era, we try to go with the trend. We try to get swayed with the trend of this world. But I think the advice I'll give you guys: be yourself. Own up your own characteristics. Be comfortable with your skin tone. Be comfortable with your weight. Be comfortable with the way you speak, even if you can't speak English. Be comfortable with your background. Be comfortable with your financial situation, no matter what your father or your mother does. Be comfortable with yourself. Be yourself. Love yourself, because self love is something now that is not much encouraged, but you need to love yourself. Only then you can succeed in your life. Just be comfortable with yourself and own up yourself. Be proud of yourself. Own your success as well as your flaws. That's it.
Again, so many beautiful suggestions in just, in just little words, in just little things. And this was again very important, I would say, ma'am, because this is what we find very hard to do. That is what we find hard, that, believing in ourselves and being ourselves, especially in this era of virtual world and trends. I think I really hope that, uh, including me, all the students, I hope we can successfully practice it at least. Achieving it is far, far away still. At least I hope we can practice it. Thank you so much, ma'am, for these, inspiring last words.
Thank you so much,
Now,
Maisha, for having me here, and I hope that you guys have more guests in near future, and I get to watch it and learn a lot from them as well. Thank you so much to the Economics Club, Maisha, everyone, Raj. A good applaud for you, a clap for you guys.
thank you,
Good job.
ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's completely our pleasure having you, and of course, it will be a pleasure having our future guests as well in this Alum Talks. So, dear audience, while the heart wishes to stay here for many more hours, we have reached the end of a wonderful time. I cannot thank you enough, ma'am, for giving us your valuable time and precious advices. It has been an honor having you here and listening to you.
Pleasure is all mine.
Okay, ma'am. I hope we could actually take you back to your good old memories and your evergreen home EWU. Now, I would also like to show my gratitude towards the audience for sticking with us till the end patiently. And I am sure you learned a lot from the session, and I'm sure you had fun too, especially with the rapid fire round and with our really sweet Pooja ma'am. Speaking about her, telling us her journey, telling us her story, speaking about so many little but beautiful things. So, with this, I, Tasin Firdaus Maisha, I'm ending today's session and saying goodbye to you all. We wish to meet again, talk again, learn again, and laugh again at this very platform of Alum Talks in the next sessions. Be sure to attend those sessions as many more exciting segments await you. Till then, stay safe and strive to achieve excellence. Good night, everyone. Good night, ma'am.
Good night. Take care,
Good
everyone. May God help
night.
us.
I think